Welcome to Face Islam, the program dealing with the subjects that Muslims face every day, everywhere. Today I want to talk about a very important subject to us, all of us as Muslims. It's the word ilm. What is ilm? In fact, we've heard it mentioned as knowledge in English language, and it is when we take basic information, data, just collected information, and we turn it into something valuable by knowing how to use it, and that is called ilm, or knowledge. Because keeping a file in a folder, keeping up with information, letters, on a page, words on a page, is nice, and we should do that. We got libraries. But when the person sits and begins to read and understand what they're looking at, then this becomes their knowledge. And in Islam, it is something highly respected, the true knowledge, any knowledge, and not just from Muslim scholars. Sometimes we make that mistake in thinking that knowledge can only come from Muslim scholars. It's absolutely not true. Knowledge is knowledge. How you use it is another subject we talked about in another program, the hikmah or wisdom. But the basic knowledge itself of any subject, as long as a person has references. But to us it's not considered real knowledge if it's just a hypothesis. If you just have an idea, a philosophy by itself, that the result of it is not quite at the level yet, definitely, because you have a composition made up of things. But if you don't have an absolute proof for it, except that these are references, that might be right, but it might also be wrong. So when we start talking about theories, we don't consider that the same as real knowledge. Now, when scholars work at the evidences, in other words, they will spend hours or days, sometimes months, even years. I know myself, I've worked on several projects that just on 2 or 3 words took us years to get enough of the resources together to really prove up a point with absolute reference, and not a matter of discussion or theory anymore, because we had done enough of the research. Now, that kind of ilm or knowledge is what we're talking about here, and this is why it must be respected, because people have dedicated their lives to accumulate it. An alim is one who has ilm. In the Arabic language, alim, the one who has ilm. Muta'alim, this is somebody who is a student of knowledge, studying, wants to learn about it. And all of it together gives us the idea of something very scholastic, that this is a source of taking information, putting it to work, compiling it together. When scholars work diligently at coming to a conclusion based on the Quran and the Sunnah or teachings of Muhammad, peace be upon him, this gathering of information and working on it together is called ijtihad. And an ijtihad is something where they've strived and struggled to bring it out so that you and I can use it. Again, for that reason, we should give big respect to those who are committing their lives to it. This is why in Islam a scholar is not just another teacher or professor. He is someone well revered and looked up to for his dedication, his sacrifice, and the fact that he's helping us to live better in this life and hopefully much better in the next life. All of this comes back to this word ilm, the root for all that we're talking about now, this knowledge, something that we cannot exist really as Muslims without. To be an ignorant worshiper really is not the goal of Islam. The goal in Islam is to have full knowledge of what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you're doing it, how you're doing it, and especially to whom are you giving your worship. Because ultimately we say it is Allah who has all knowledge of everything. And Allah tells us in the Quran, يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُم وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنْ عِلْمِهِ إِلَّا بِمَا شَاءَ. Here Allah is saying it, literally, that He has all knowledge of everything, front, back, up, down, all around. And you and I don't have any knowledge except that He is the one who's giving it to us. And by the way, if you thought about that, have you ever experienced, and I know I do all the time, that all of a sudden you can't remember what you were going to say? What happened? I was going to say something, and now it's gone. That means that I took it away from you. This is why you find Muslims, when they get stuck, they'll say, Bismillah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. They're remembering something here about Islam that makes them go, oh, wait a minute, Bismillah, Bismillah, yes. The answer is, or what I was talking about, such and such. So this is why we do that, because we're trying to get ourselves back in focus here, and we know the real knowledge is only coming from Him, and for whatever reason He's withholding it. And sometimes He may not want you to talk about a subject, and maybe that's why He took it away from you. I don't know. But for sure, the subject of ilm or knowledge is something crucial, very, very important to all of us as Muslims, and we want the best of knowledge for each and every one of us. And of course, that's why we have this program, Face Islam.